Hi folks, how you doing? Some people ask me to do analysis on AVGO or Broadcom. So I'm making this video to go over AVGO or Broadcom financials and forward PE to come up with a stock price assessment and projection for AVGO or Broadcom. Now, let's get started. Starting with the financials, I put together the summary of the financial data for last 6 quarters in this table. This includes revenue, net income, profit margin percentage, gross margin percentage, EBITDA margin percentage, that is earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation, and the EPS actuals, free cash flow per share, and debt to equity ratio. And also, I have year over year and quarter over quarter columns to compare how Avago is doing each quarter. For example, revenue, you see that each quarter revenue is going up. So year over year, 42.96% growth, and quarter over quarter, 4.35% up. Net income, I see the mixed picture. It's going up each quarter, but lately, in last few quarters, the net income is not going good. So year over year is 39.08% down, but quarter over quarter is going up if you compare with the previous quarter. The profit margin, gross margin, and EBITDA margin percentages also showing the mixed picture. The year over year, the numbers are going down, but quarter over quarter, numbers are going up. So they did a good job in the latest quarter, but overall, compared with the last year, is not so great. And the EPS, each quarter is going up, but not a great improvement. So year over year is 6.20% up, but quarter over quarter is going down. So debt to equity ratio, if you compare year over year, is going good, and quarter over quarter almost flat. So this tells that Broadcom and Avago is doing a good job managing their debt. But overall financial data is showing the mixed picture, is not as great as we saw in case of Nvidia or SMCI. Overall, the financial data is showing a mixed picture, and the growth is not as good as we see in case of Nvidia and SMCI. Let's dig into further on the earnings or EPS. I put together the historical earnings data for last 7 quarters, including the latest quarter. You see that in each quarter, Broadcom or Avago was able to beat the earnings. In the last quarter, the earnings surprise was 1.11%. And also, I have another table. This shows the earning projections for next 4 quarters. So you see that starting next quarter through Q2 2025, we see that 20% growth. So next 1 year, Avago earnings is projected to grow 20%. So you see the formula, that is F14 minus C14 divided by C14. So I'm comparing Q2 2025 versus Q3 2024. So this means that in general, right, if you buy a Vago stock as of this point, you can expect a Vago shares to go up around 20% at least in 4 quarters from now. Now let's take a look forward PE and try to make some projections or assessment. I put together the EPS forward, EPS trading 12 months, and the adjusted closing price in this table for last 4 weeks. I also calculate the P ratio with respect to trailing 12 months EPS and P ratio with respect to forward EPS. We also call it forward P ratio. So EPS forward is basically this quarter earning actuals plus next 3 quarters earning projections. And EPS trailing 12 months is last 4 quarters earning actuals, including the latest quarter. At this point, Avago forward P ratio is at 32.62. Let's take a look historically what has been the forward P ratio for Avago. So I have another table that contains the forward P and the trailing P for Avago or Broadcom for last 12 quarters. You can notice that AVGO forward P has not been that high in the previous quarters. So 32.61 so far is the highest forward PE compared with the historical numbers. And I also calculate the forward PE with respect to the all-time high of AVGO stock price. The all-time high was 1851. So based on that, the forward PE is 36.41 for AVGO. I have another table that has the earning projections and the actual historical data for last 12 quarters and also the earning surprise on those 12 quarters. And the another table I have is earning projections for next 4 quarters. Now I calculate the minimum, average, and the maximum earning surprise for last 6 quarters because last 6 quarters are more relevant. So another calculation I did was median, min, average, and the maximum forward PE for AVGO for last 6 quarters because we need this data to calculate the price projections for AVGO. I already made those calculations to come up with a minimum, average, and the maximum price projection for AVGO. Let me go over with you. For the minimum, I'm using EPS forward as my first factor, that is G4. And the second factor is the forward PE, that is S28. That's a minimum value. And the second factor is the forward PE for last 6 quarters, and that is this one. And the third one, I have the earning surprise, that is P35. So in this case, this one. Okay. And that gives me 1319 as my minimum stock price for AVGO. It does not mean that AVGO will come to this level. It means that AVGO should not go below this level. So just to come up with a price range, I have this minimum price value for AVGO. And second one is the average stock price for AVGO. Same formula. I have G4, that is the EPS forward, and the second factor Q28. And this guy, the median value for the forward PE for last 6 quarters. And the third factor is Q35, that is the average value for the earnings surprise. That gives me the average stock price for AVGO 1531. And the third one is the maximum. Same formula G4, that is the EPS forward times T28, that is the forward P, the maximum value for last 6 quarters, including the all-time high. And the third factor is the earning surprise. Okay, that's this one. So that gives me the maximum price projection for AVGO 1976. So this means that I'm not expecting AVGO to go above 1976 before the next earnings. So as we notice that AVGO financials growth is not as great as we see in case of Nvidia and SMCI, so we cannot stretch AVGO stock price too much. And the major reason AVGO was going high in last week or so after earnings is the stock split announcement. And we can notice that AVGO started making correction in last 2-3 days, and that makes sense to me because 20 to 25% increase in just 1 quarter cannot be supported by financials. But to be on the safe side, I can say that if we buy AVGO at this price, at least 20% increase we can expect 4 quarters from now. So that's all about AVGO assessment and price projections before next earnings. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.